Right. Next on today's agenda is this little beauty. An eastern hemlock. I was reading a forum post the other day, I forget what forum it was, that was saying these do not make good bonsai material. This tree was £25 and I really love the canopy. It is a twin trunk. I love the canopy and I think this will look wonderful in the future. So it's out the pot. Some big juicy roots, white tips, very healthy. Let's see what we've got going on. Yeah, the forum I was reading said it was quite an old post actually. Maybe opinions have changed since then. But general consensus was use a different species of hemlock if you wanted to turn them into bonsai. So obviously I read that forum after I purchased it, but you know, I don't have any aspirations of ever having trees in a show of any sort. I just do this. Why do I do this? I think if I'm honest, it just allows me to switch off, which is quite rare for me to achieve. So it's a hobby I wish I'd found much earlier in life, but better late than never. And I can still get just as much enjoyment out of it now. So, wow, this is some heavy, healthy roots. And I definitely need to get a root rake ordered. Doing it with this hook thing, it's quite painful at times. Like everything I do a little bit of reading and then do my own thing. So what I've not read up on is when these should be repotted, how, what sort of percentage of the roots can be removed. I'm just gonna wing it like everything. I'd be disappointed though, I will admit, if this didn't make it, because I'm quite fond of its structure. Will that lead me to being a bit more cautious? Probably not. You know, one thing I always wonder about online I see people doing this and raking the roots out. And then they wash them, or they get a power hose on them and remove all the soil. I just don't understand. If you can do that, why don't you just do that from the beginning? It'd be much, much easier, wouldn't it? Oh dear. Okay, I think similar to one of the other videos, I'm going to stop the recording here. You don't need to see me battling away with these for 10 minutes, and I'll pick it up shortly. So just quickly, you can see there it's got a root strangling the trunk of the tree. So the trunk, as I've exposed it, comes all the way down, but it's got roots starting almost at the base of the where the twin trunks start. So I'm going to remove this one that's strangling and then carry on working through it. Right, I'm going to remove some of the roots now. It's just becoming quite difficult to establish where the base of the tree is with all these in the way at the top. So I know these are definitely going. So methodically clear, begin to clear the trunk. Interesting here, look. Almost in the exact same place where the branches come out of, we've got what looks like might have been a branch at some point, but because it's been buried up to where you can see the change in colour, that potential branch has turned into a root. Now that needs to go. I'm just going to cut it off loosely to there for now. Or roughly to there, not loosely. So what I'm trying to do is establish, a lot of times in pots from shops, a lot of the trunk will be buried. Needs to go, get out of my way. Will be buried, so you can reveal a lot more of the tree, and that will change the way it looks quite substantially. Actually, you can see it's got a bit of a lean to it, which adds a nice little bit of character. So the base of the tree looks to be about where these snippers are here. So I've gained a good 2 inches, maybe 3, in trunk height just from removing the roots that were growing under the soil when it was potted. So, call me a hypocrite, I've washed the roots. It was just getting impossible to get in and really see what's going on. So now we can see some of the potential problem roots. This one here, for example, that curves around and then over, and who knows where it goes. That definitely needs to go. And then we can see, weirdly, it's got 2 main roots that have sort of looped under one another underneath. I need to have a bit of time to think about what I'm going to do with that. I said at the start I wouldn't get carried away. You could say I got carried away now. There was a big root coming out of this side that was wrapping around this one and didn't have many small roots coming off it, so it had to go, which has left this big wound here But actually, I mean, it might stunt its growth this year. There's not a lot of roots there to supply all of this foliage, but it's a case of, do you leave the problem roots or do you tackle it now? And even some of these aren't great, but they are the best of a bad bunch. So let me grab a pot and we'll get this one sorted out. So I'm going to use this terracotta pot for this hemlock. Got the gauze in. It's got no other holes, so I've put a little holding wire through the centre. It's not going to be ideal, but it may be necessary. Let me pop that on there, actually. I think it'll go quite nice. It's a bit rough and ready, but I do not mind rough and ready at all. So let's begin with the soil. More. What I don't want to do, that's about right. I don't know how this will look in the end. I don't know if that kink will become part of the finished tree or if that will stay permanently below the soil. It would be fantastic if roots started appearing laterally from this section, so that would be the base of the trunk. Obviously at the minute we've got a good 3-inch dominant piece of rootstock there that then spreads out, so we'll have to see. And then I'm just going to arrange it, obviously it's a circular pot so direction doesn't matter, but I'm just going to arrange it so that if I use those guide wires, they come across the base of the roots. That's a good amount for now. The tree is quite unsteady because of its weight at the top. We'll get this soil in and then we'll put some more in afterwards. Not sure what the temperature is today, but it's not warm. So the tree is very unsteady. It's trying to fall away from me, so get this soil in as much as possible, and then let's get these wires on and see how much of a difference that makes. Hopefully you do the job and hold the tree upright. Not there yet. Almost. It's got a little bit of play. Might be as good as we're going to get. Oh, well, it's getting better. Only about 50 more twists to go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just push the soil down a little bit more. And then give it a couple more twists. There's quite a big pocket of air at the back of the tree, which it's then falling into. Okay, that's now falling even more. That was well done. It was pretty stable before I did that. Right, let's see if I can get any more average on this. I've pulled it off. That is not what we want. Hopefully. It's not fixing it at all. Okay, I just stopped the camera then because I thought I was going to have to empty it all out and start again. And out of unhappiness that I was going to have to do it all again, I gave it some welly. I think that's a technical phrase. And really torqued down on that wire. And it's sort of done the trick. You see, it's still not totally stable, but no, I'm not going to risk pulling that up either. I mean, it's going to go into a quiet spot outside of the wind, so and it's off the floor, so there's no risk of the dog knocking into it or anything. Right. I reckon that is done. I'm really not happy with it. I want it more upright. See if this does anything. That's a bit better. You sort of see that being the front. Well, that side's quite nice too. So my plan will be now to leave this. See, I'm being deceived by the foliage because that trunk is actually upright, but because the foliage is an angle, I'm thinking it's off. So the plan is now going to be to put this on the bench and not touch it for a year. Let the roots recover, grow, fill that pot, get nice and secure, and then at some point the canopy will be created. Right, Romeo done.